you ever feel like something is just missing from your life? Especially in our social interactions with other people? I felt this way for a very long time. I felt this way as I'd get on a bus with 40 other people, all communicating with 40 other non-present people through their phones. I felt this way as I'd watch reality television shows that portray the pain and agony of others as entertainment. I felt this way as I watched politicians argue mercilessly over who is right and who is wrong, focusing on the issues rather than the people. How did we get this way? What was missing? That's what I asked myself all the time. The answer came to me finally in an interaction with an old friend who approached me one day, asked me about my life, what was going on. So I told him my experiences, the good and the bad. And what he communicated to me was that he cared more about being interested in me than being interesting to me. And it changed my life. It answered my question. I knew what had been missing for so long. It was empathy. And I came to the conclusion that we as a people should learn, understand, and practice empathy more than we do now. By learning what it is, why it's so important, why it is lacking, and how we can cultivate it and show it more. The Oxford English Dictionary defines empathy in two senses. The first, it is a physical property of the nervous system, analogous to electrical capacitance, believed to be correlated with feeling. In other words, empathy is a physical part of us. It's something that we are born with. It is to our minds and our feelings what the flow of electricity is to this building. The second definition is the ability of projecting oneself into another in order to fully understand and appreciate it. Put more simply, empathy is the ability within each of us, you and I, to feel with others. Very different from sympathy, though they're often confused to be the same. Sympathy is defined as a real or supposed affinity between things by virtue of which they're similar. Brene Brown, a renowned public speaker and a professor at the University of Houston Graduate College of Social Work, puts it this way. Empathy fuels connection, sympathy drives disconnection. This is because when you sympathize with another person, you feel what they're feeling as if it was you in that situation. But when you empathize, you feel what they are feeling as if you are them. Big difference. Bruce D. Perry and Maya Salovitz wrote a book called Born for Love, Why Empathy is Essential and Endangered. In it, they talk about an empathy deficit that we are facing in our world. They talk about divorce rates. They talk about incarceration rates. The land of the free incarcerates 5 times more people on average than the rest of the world. Now surely, empathy is not the sole contributing factor to these things and many other social issues, but it is a major trigger in them. The most glimmering and obvious result of this lack of empathy in our society, though, is the popular idea that you should love yourself first in order to be happy. It comes from an over-exaggeration of the idea of independence. It tells you that all you need is you to be happy. All you need is you to achieve success. All you need is a good self-image, and you're good. That's it. But this is contrary to empathy. You see, we as a people are a social species. We are interdependent on others. From conception, we are dependent on someone or something other than ourselves for life. The embryo to its mother for life, a child to its parents for nurturing, a student to his teacher for wisdom, a worker to his employer for finance. So this idea that all you need is you, really put it to the test if you think it's right. Try to be an individual for a day. Try to isolate yourself for a day, see how it goes. Because it won't work. It defeats empathy, it's contrary. So knowing what empathy is, why it is so important for us to connect with each other and to be interdependent, I've developed a 5-step process based on research from Teresa Wiseman, a nursing scholar, and Ross Christ. Teresa Wiseman writes an article called A Concept Analysis of Empathy in in the Journal of Advanced Nursing in 1996. Ross Crisp writes an article called The Characteristics of Master Therapists. It was published in the Psychology Journal Review in 2014. From their research, the first step for us as people to become more empathetic is to acknowledge that there is a need for it and desire it. The second step is taught by Ross Crisp. It's being selfless and open to feedback, giving of self, and being willing to hear from the perspective of another without being destabilized by their views, without being harshly offended. The third step is to see from the perspective of another. This goes back to our basic definitions. Empathy is feeling what someone's feeling as if you are them, seeing from their perspective, not seeing their situation from your perspective. The fourth step is doing so without being judgmental. If in the back of your mind you say, oh, this would be easy for me, this person's overreacting, then you've lost your empathy. And the fifth and final step that rekindles the desire for empathy and starts the whole process over again is recognizing the emotion in another person and communicating to them that you understand what they feel, understand where they're coming from. You're more interested than you are interesting. So imagine a world where the 40 people sitting on a bus to campus talked with each other. Imagine a world where politicians collaborated with each other and focused on people rather than problems. Imagine all these things. Imagine if we didn't laugh at other people's pain, but we felt pain with them. If there is one thing that you remember today, I hope it's this, that no civilization has ever lasted forever. There has come a time in every great nation where empathy ran low, people failed to connect, and they destroyed themselves.